All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rollin with Hayes. We are on episode 6. So this one's going to be about sports. A lot of things kind of have happened in sports that we need to talk about and discuss between the NFL, the NCAA tournaments, and then a couple of things in the NBA. We're going to touch on the main things in the NBA are, yesterday I ended up going to the Celtics against the Wizards game. You know, them Wizards need a hell of a lot of help. That's all I'm going to say there. Sam Hauser was about to go for Klay Thompson's record of 14 three-pointers. He had 10 and made it look effortless. 10 for 12. You can't really ask for anything else from a player at that point. And then Luka passed it into Kyrie. Kyrie did his Kyrie magic, and Mavericks won that game. Wemby went for 35 plus. Wemby's not a rookie. I just need you all to know that Wemby is going to be a bona fide star at the rate he's going. If they can put help around him, the team is going to be straight. And no problems or worries about it. He's really good, but he just needs the right pieces around him. So this offseason, they're going to have to work to do what it takes because they have a great star there. Great coach that's there as well. Just segueing this into college ball, because we talked about the NBA. Within college, the brackets are set. I know tomorrow on the episode, Steve and I are going to talk about it. And it's going to be like usual, everyone's going to think they know who it is. And only a couple people are actually going to know. The men's side, the number one seeds we have are UConn, Houston, Purdue, and UNC. On the women's side, we have South Carolina, Iowa, USC, as in Trojans, Southern California, and then we have the University of Texas. So just straight off the bat, a lot of people are going to predict South Carolina to end up winning it all, which is fair. I think that people need to pay attention for, as usual, LSU and UConn. UConn's the number 3 seed. I don't think they're a team to sleep on. I think that they could still do it. It's not the same Geno teams as old, but UConn still does have the pieces. Fan favorite is going to be Iowa because I want to see Caitlin Clark wrap it up. I don't think it happens this year. I hate to break it to anyone, but I really don't think that they're going to do it. Just going into the men's side, just quick notes over there. UNC is not going to do it. I don't want to break it to anybody. They lost to NC State in the ACC tournament. They've had some silly losses as well along the way. I don't think that they're going to do it. Looking at a number 2 seed that some people think can do it, Iowa State is 1, and then also Arizona. Arizona has Caleb Love. You know, Caleb Love is out for vengeance against his former Carolina team. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to pay attention to and focus in on. Kind of taking it a step further, Purdue's not going to do it. Purdue is another team that'll have silly losses along the way. I don't think that they have what it takes. The only 2 number 1 seeds that I could see going all the way, UConn can do it. Houston's really iffy. I say that because Houston, they had a loss too. Some of these teams have these random losses. UConn would have to repeat, and that's extremely tough in college. Florida did it before, but not every team is repeating. So we'll have to kind of see over there what ends up happening. I'm going to look through the bracket and everything today, so I'll probably put a couple together, and then I'll talk to you about my thoughts tomorrow in terms of the NCAA tournament. But those are the initial thoughts when everything first came out, what I'm kind of seeing, what I'm kind of thinking. And again, this is how it's going to go. Right now is the time of the year where the NCAA tournament's the big thing. When the playoffs come around, I'll give you my thoughts on the playoffs. Football comes around, you know the show is going to be filled with a lot of fantasy football stuff. And we're just going to keep going after that. So if you ever have any thoughts, suggestions, comments, things you want me to end up talking about, things you want to hear, just let me know, and we can bring that up. Finally, finishing this off, I want to talk about the NFL, because a lot of things have happened. Justin Fields got traded for a 6th-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bears ended up honoring one of the teams that Justin Fields wanted to go to, so everyone clearly knew Fields was going to be the quarterback. I hope that he was going to be the quarterback, but it just didn't work out for him to be the quarterback there. Caleb Williams has an amazing situation he's going to be going into. He will have, in the backfield, DeAndre Swift, wide receivers. He will have Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, and then he'll have Cole Kmet. Can't really ask for anything else, so I do feel bad on that side of things for Justin Fields, because he didn't get that same opportunity. But he's going to the Steelers, so great organization over there. They're building a good defense. There's not technically going to be a quarterback competition. Justin Fields is going to be the number 2. Russell Wilson is going to be the number 1. Traded away Kenny Pickett. Mason Rudolph is out of there as well. So it leaves promise for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm always loving and hoping to see them do well. They have an A1 organization, great coach as well. They finished at 500 or above every single season, which you can't complain about. Sorry, under Mike Tomlin. Let me say that. Which is another positive over there. I'm curious how that whole situation is going to come out, kind of flipping the script on that with the Chargers, because last time we talked and last time I was on Twitter about this stuff, they had 4 players that were all making like 30 plus, and they couldn't do that. Keenan Allen got traded to the Chicago Bears, which is good for the Bears. I don't know if Keenan Allen's happy to be in a cold place, whereas he was just in sunny California. Mike Williams, they released. So Mike Williams was going to be visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joe Bosa and then also Khalil Mack both took pay cuts to end up staying there. So currently looking at the roster, the Chargers need wide receivers. The Chargers are in an amazing situation for wide receivers, though, because of their draft pick that they have. They can get Malik Neighbors, they can get Adunze, they can get Marvin Harrison Jr., or you can get one of the other wide receivers as you continue to go down the draft. So, if you're going to these wide receiver needy teams, you're going to get force-fed the ball, which then in turn is good for fantasy football stock over there. So that's kind of the big thing I wanted to mention in terms of the quarterback aspect, because they do have 2. If I were to look at who are the teams that really helped themselves this free agency, Houston Texans have to be one of the top teams up there. They've become much scarier in the NFL. So I think that that's something a lot of people need to focus in on, look at, realize what is happening with the Houston Texans. I personally think that that's going to be their division. As long as they can keep it together and do what they did last year, they should be fine. Going a step further, the Ravens did well. They finally got a good 3-down running back if they want to make Derrick Henry a 3-down running back. Eagles helped themselves on offense. They didn't necessarily help themselves as much on defense. I have to see what they continue to do going forward. But on initial thoughts, I would say those are the 3 focal point teams. The Commanders are starting to put together some things. Giants didn't really help themselves a lot. Cowboys, okay. Of course, Aaron Jones is now with Minnesota, so it's going to be a revenge thing. Pittsburgh Steelers definitely helped themselves getting 2 quarterbacks. So if you don't want to call it quarterback competition, although we know it's going to be quarterback competition, you have that. You got Patrick Queen on your defense. And now you have George Pickens as the go-to number 1. Draft stock that has been helped in terms of fantasy football. Drake London for sure. Garrett Wilson, because Aaron Rodgers should be back. That's kind of another one that's going to be important. Derrick Henry stock, if you want, you could say is up. They have a lot of rundowns that they like to do in Baltimore. And I think that'll definitely help them out. The Rams didn't really do anything in terms of Los Angeles Rams. So I'm curious how that's going to go as we go forward. Just kind of looking around the landscape. even more. The Bucks re-signed their players, which was good for them. They decided to focus on what they're doing internally and not necessarily start going out as much. The AFC West, they didn't do a lot. Chiefs didn't do too much. Chargers didn't really do a whole heck of a lot. They had to release players over there. Raiders didn't really do too much either. So, yeah, you have AFC West, Chiefs, Raiders. I don't know, I'm trying to blank on some of these teams. You got the Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos. And Broncos, they traded Jerry Jeudy to the Browns. Not too much happened there. They're going to focus on the draft. You can kind of see throughout this process the teams that are focused on the draft, the teams that are not. Again, first pick, clearly Caleb Love. Second pick, Commanders. The speculation has been Jaden Daniels. And then third pick, you now have the Patriots who are sitting there. And they wanted Jaden Daniels, but now it looks like Drake May's fallen there. Also, you notice how this draft stock changes. Nothing has changed about the players. They've been the same since they were in college. But Drake May's stock has fallen, and then Jaden Daniels' stock has continued to rise. He went from maybe late first round, then at one point he was mid first round, and now they're saying top 5. You can't really beat that. That's money in your pocket, man. And then go out there and ball out. If we look at what happened just off this past year, it was C.J. Stroud that did better than Bryce Young. Now, wrapping all this up, Kenny Pickett is now with the Philadelphia Eagles, which now officially makes that draft class with Desmond Ridder, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, one of the worst draft classes, quarterback draft classes in recent years. No disrespect, but yeah, it wasn't that good. They either all got traded or are not starting. And it just kind of shows you. They said it even then. This is not a good quarterback draft class. Some of these teams are like, well, we got to try. And they attempted and didn't really work out too well. But that's all I got for now. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. I appreciate it again. Any comments you guys have, any suggestions, I always want to take suggestions in and continue to make the episodes better. Make sure to talk about the different topics that you all have that you want to hear. And until next time, this is Hayes, Rolling with Hayes. We out.